So for our annual holiday show and tell, we have a slate of 10 folks to share their chosen camera or their chosen PowerPoint. We're going to try and keep it to 5 or 6 minutes per person so that everyone can share. When it's your turn and I call your name, please unmute yourself. And if I have a file of yours to share, I will pull that up.
I became interested in photography when I worked for Ansco in New York years ago. And one of the things I did was I went up to their headquarters in Binghamton, New York, and was able to look at a lot of the old cameras that they had at that time, plus the advertising and brochures. And it got me very interested in the history. And I started collecting at that time, and I still have some collecting now, but mostly the Art Deco cameras that I really love that are in the photograph that I sent, which I think you can upload that. Those were really something that I really very much enjoyed collecting those. I have the petites in the different Art Deco designs, and also I have the compact that goes with the camera. Uh, it's been really a lot of fun to collect those, and you know, I have them on display in my living room, and people really admire the work on those Art Deco cameras. So it's really like the one of my prized possessions.
Would you like me to move to the next photo?
Just a question, is this an 828 camera?
Um, which one? The one you're looking at?
Most of them are 127 cameras.
Oh, they're 127. Okay,
The folding ones, and then the box cameras in the back are called bow brownies, and those are either 116 or 120.
Okay, but these are 127. Okay.
Yeah. And if I can just add something, they were all designed by Walter Doran Teague,
right?
Designer.
And I have the compact that goes with the what they call the Blue Lightning camera. I don't have the lipstick, but I have the camera and the compact with the Art Deco design.
Shall I move to the next one?
Okay.
Can you see that?
I can't see it, but what does it show?
Another part of the case with some looks like mirrored.
Oh
cases.
yeah, I have that's an Ansco camera with the. I'm just going out to my living room to get the light on to see it.
For some of us, the picture hasn't changed from the Art Deco cabinet.
That's right. The first image is still there.
Oh, okay. Well, there should be another image showing the. I have the Ansco camera in the. It's a woman's box with a mirror, compact lipstick, comb. Really beautiful set. So I have that, and then I have also the kit with the camera, lipstick, and compact. I have two of those in with different colored folding cameras.
The image is there now.
You're sharing it now, yep.
Yes, I see it now.
Beautiful.
So the Art Deco cameras, I have the Kodak Uh, the one in the box with the original box, and then I have the one, two, three, four, five. I have five of the Art Deco cameras, and then I have the what they call the Blue Lightning and the Green Lightning. And the Blue Lightning has a compact with it. I don't have the lipstick, as I said. And then I have all the Bow Brownies in the different colors. I think there's five big ones and five small ones. And then I have the Boy Scout and Girl Scout cameras. I have some other Art Deco cameras that are on the shelf that I'm looking at now. And that's about it.
Very
Thanks.
nice. Very nice.
Those are wonderful.
So I really enjoy collecting these, and well, I don't see them anymore these days. Uh, I go to the photographic show here in the Washington area, and I'm always looking for things, but I don't see any of these things at all, and I haven't for years. So I don't know what's left, but I'm always looking.
Those are wonderful.
Well, what you have is you've got a big market for these. They were designed for women,
Right.
and so you have camera collectors and women and other groups like that. Scouts,
Hmm.
they're all looking for their piece of history in those things. They're beautiful,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
they're getting very expensive.
They and I don't see them anymore. I have the folding Boy Scout camera and the Girl Scout and ones with Art Deco plates on them. Uh,
You also have the Campfire Girl camera, which is very hard to find,
yes,
Yeah.
and your diamond pattern, which
you're
is
right.
painted, not enameled, is in very good condition.
Yeah, and one of the things I really like though is that Blue Lightning with the compact. I love that Art Deco design on it.
You got to keep your eyes open because there's a green variation of that as well.
I have the green. I have the green right behind it,
Oh, do you? Okay, good for
but
you.
I don't have the green compact. I couldn't find it.
There never was one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good to know.
Okay, she needs to go to the next one.
Those are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those, Jim.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I really enjoyed it and look forward to the other presentations.
Yes, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And next up is Kevin.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Kevin. I have a Kodak digital camera system here. So this is a 1991 vintage photojournalist digital SLR. It's a Nikon F3 film camera, unchanged. Um, a custom Kodak made back and winder, and then this cable is because there's also an entire storage unit here that is battery, screen, buttons to interact with the unit, and a whacking great big hard drive for like 200 pictures.
Kevin, I can hardly hear you. Can you
Oh,
speak up, please?
sorry. Yes, is that better?
A little louder if you
Okay.
can.
Um, is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So it's a yeah,
We lost your audio.
Nothing now.
Kevin, we lost your audio.
um,
There you are.
sorry. You can still hear me, okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've got, yeah, it's the back. I actually have two of them. The back is its own like clip-on replacement for the film door. The winder is its own like self-contained unit, and then yeah, you have to um, connect these two together with this big coiled cable. Carry this around in like a custom-made bag that they had, and then for the traveling photojournalist, you can send images over like a modem. You can plug it into a dial-up modem and send them over the phone line. One of the other pieces for the traveling photojournalist is this keyboard. Um, it's your normal kind of features, but it also lets you operate the whole camera. You can type in notes. You can type in like photographic descriptions and subjects and locations and tag them to the pictures. And then the computer that's set up here is because you need an entire SCSI connection um, to offload all those photos. It's a Macintosh Centris 650 and Photoshop plugin um, that will let you look at and acquire images from the SCSI conflicts. Um, but um, will let you look at and acquire pictures from the camera itself, and then download them, manipulate them, save them as well. Um, yeah, it's been a really cool system. This came from the New England School of Photography after it closed. They got a couple of these from Kodak in 1991 as like loaners. Um, and then they've released a second generation in a year or a year and a half, and Kodak said, "Oh, you can just keep it." Um, so they stuck around as curiosities and oddities um, until then, and yeah, and they astonishingly still work. There's an enormous case. There's all kinds of hardware. Um, yeah, I
What's the
think
megapixel of that camera?
it was a 1.5 megapixel sensor, a pretty heavy crop, and a cool $25,000. You could get this one as a color back, and this one's actually a monochrome back. So you could also pick your poison for which one you wanted to go with.
Bradley's
Nice.
asking, what operating system does the software run on? What did you say it was? What
Uh,
version?
I have a Macintosh set up, and I also got it came with all the original like floppy disks. So there's an entire set of diskettes for a Mac, as well as all this photo styler drivers for DOS and Windows,
That's amazing.
and a bunch of other, they originally sold the F3 film back, and they gave you the instructions. And then apparently Nikon asked them to stop doing that because they're not actually a licensed Nikon dealer. It's quite a piece of kit. Um, yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot to carry around.
Oh yeah.
Did,
The
Kevin,
case is
did you mention what type of sensor it is? It's probably a CCD, correct?
it is a it is a
CMOS.
it is a CCD. It's
Yeah,
in-house designed by
right.
Kodak. Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Have you ever tried pushing the ISO on those?
No, the one I have been using mostly has a busted display that will tell me what the ISO is set to. So I have some projects ahead of me to try and fix it. Um, I think it's set to about 100 right now.
Okay.
It might go up to 400.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's great. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay, yeah, I thought I had done that. Okay, all right, this is a Russian camera. It's called a Horizont. It's actually a Soviet camera. It was made from 1967 to 1972. It's a panoramic camera, and it uses 35 millimeter film. Okay, now you have to bear with me with this thing because I've got a really weird mouse here. All right, next. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. Actually, I have to go back one. That's a little manual that I got from a guy on eBay in Russia. This was a few years ago. I don't think they sell from Russia anymore. But anyway, so that's what it looks like. It's got a little bit of flexibility to it. So it has three shutter speeds on it, a 30th, a 60th, and a 1/25th of a second. And the lens goes from f2.8 to f16. That is a little viewfinder that's in the upper corner there. I think I'm seeing this right. And it's a little bit awkward to get the film in there, but once you've mastered that, it's pretty good. Now, so these are the kinds of images that it produces. So it does 180 degrees, which is really quite nice. So that's one. Here's another image here. That's a train station. It doesn't really matter what it is. But how this camera works, just go back here for a second. So you can see the front opens, and then there's a little slit that kind of goes away across. So it scans the 180 degrees across, kind of like a scanner almost. So so there we go. So here's as you can see, there's a little bit of distortion on the bottom and whatnot, but it's a really fun camera to use. Like I love the wide panorama. It's just, for me, it's just a great format. So and I really enjoy working with it. Now, I will tell you that not all is well and good with this camera. And you can see on the side there's a little white line there. And that comes from a variety of problems, which I believe it's the irregular rotation of the of that slit when it's moving across. So I did have it in for repair at one place, and we thought we had it all fixed. Ran a couple of test rolls, seems fine, but no, we're still having problems with it. So that's fine. They've agreed to have another look at it and see what else they can do with it. It's an intermittent problem. And I will also tell you there's been an entire format, like basically a forum that's been dedicated to dealing with this problem because it seems to be very common, and it's believed to be caused by irregular rotation, which could be deterioration of the seals around the lens. It could be dirt in the mechanism. There seem to be a variety of causes for it. But anyway, here it is. I will stop sharing here, and I will hold this thing up so you can see how it looks. So there we go. And as you can see, this little piece kind of pops off so you can get the film in and out of there. I also have a case with it, and I have a handle thing that screws into the bottom so you can hold it up if you want. I have yet to find it useful, but okay, I guess somebody thought it was useful, so they produced it. So there we go. This particular model, I should add as well, was produced in 1969, and it was produced for an English-speaking market. So the text on it is, sort of regular, normal text that we use. It's not Cyrillic text. So there we go. That's my little historic camera.
The images are incredible, really nice.
It's really a fun camera, but the problem is it's still unreliable. So we are hoping to improve upon that.
Thank you.
I had one of those cameras, and the unreliability had to do with the slower speeds, and it's an inconsistent scanning of the camera, which seems to be more uniform at the higher speed than the lower speed. So,
well, most of the photos that you saw in there were shot at 1/125th of a second. They're all, daylight. I just kind of went with 1/125th at f16. I figured that'll work.
So a question. Sorry, my camera is off, not working. So how long, does anyone know how long it took to actually take the entire scan, the panorama?
What, do you mean the images that you saw on here?
Yes, like one image. How long would you have to hold it steady for?
So you're referring to when I scan the actual negative. Is that correct? Am I
No,
understanding?
I meant to say you mentioned that the panorama was taken almost like by scanning for
Oh, no,
180
no,
degrees.
no. These were all photographed at 1/125th of a second.
So uh, the entire frame was taken in 1/25th of a second.
That's correct, yes.
Wow. So each snap. So do we know how many snapshots it would have to take for one entire panorama?
No, it's just one photo.
Cyril,
It's
the drum,
one single negative.
Ah,
Cyril,
Yeah.
the drum rotates, the lens rotates in a circle, and it takes about 1/10 of a second for the drum to rotate.
sorry, you're breaking up a little bit, but I think
Oh, yeah,
uh,
yeah. You're saying it takes about 20 seconds for the drum to rotate.
No, no,
oh,
no, no,
okay,
a
okay.
1/10 of
I
a
don't know if
second.
it's that long. But
20 seconds. Okay. So I
Yeah.
imagine there was a tripod somewhere, like someone
no, these were all handheld.
amazing.
Yeah.
No.
How
Yeah,
many?
the biggest problem, honestly, is when you
1/10 of a
want to deal
second.
with the actual images,
Uh-huh.
because the only scanning success I've had is to scan it on a flatbed scanner because of the width.
Yeah, I'm sorry I said scanning just because
Yeah.
what I meant was the rotation of the drum.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as someone else explained here, the Ken explained the drum thing. Okay.
On an average 36 exposure roll of 35, how many images can you get?
I'd say about 18 to 20.
Thank you.
There was a couple of questions in the chat. Do you happen to know the focal length of the Horizon T lens?
No, I'm not 100% sure about that, and they don't really give you that information. It appears to be a wide angle.
Yes.
I would say it was probably in a 35 millimeter range, but I don't know the actual focal length.
And the lens isn't interchangeable.
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And there's obviously no time exposures or anything like that allowed on that. It wouldn't make sense. It couldn't be done.
And it's all mechanical, right? No batteries.
No batteries at all. Totally mechanical.
Fantastic. How heavy is it?
Heavy.
Yeah.
It's a bit on the heavy side, but I mean, if you're used to like a 35 millimeter film camera, say
Mhm.
it's in that range. It's not super heavy.
Great. There's one more question, is there? Wide Lux gave 21 shots on a 36 exposure roll. That's from Jim Mathis, and he always used it handheld.
Yeah. That would seem about right. I tend to waste a little bit when I'm loading the film in because it's temperamental when it comes to loading it.
Thank you so much, Jerry. That's a fantastic piece.
My pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. Ron, would you like to go next?
Sure. Give me a second to get ready.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can read.
Is it
Do you want
being
me to
cut off?
No, but do you want me to read the slides?
Um, they're short phrases. If you can see the entire slide, then I don't think you need to read it.
Okay.
But if
No,
anyone wants them read, Dana's willing to do it. Now this graph here demonstrates the general rise in photographic studios in Boston from 1840 to 1955. And you can see it's a gradual increase. I can't account for the 1852 drop. The economic situation in Boston was pretty good at that time. So that's an unknown why it's a kind of big constriction between 50 and 52. There wasn't a panic until 54, so I'm not sure what happens. But the point is that this is a general consistent rise in studios in that time period. And if you look at portrait paintings, portrait painters, advertised portrait painters, you can see that they held consistently and gradually they began to be taken over by photographic studios. So that's the kind of change between the more elite and expensive portrait painters and the more egalitarian photographers. The real hit was taken by the miniature painters making small images for jewelry or cased images. And you can see that photography took them over very, very quickly. And after 1855, none of them advertised in the Boston directories.
So the number on the left represents either studios or individual business owners of photography.
Studios, yes, advertised studios.
Thank you.
Or advertised portrait painters and advertised miniature painters. So we can basically, visual immortality was satisfied by photographs from life, but postmodern photography was a significant part of photographers, particularly during the Daguerrean eras. And even Southworth and Hawes participated and advertised that they did those kinds of photographs. And this bottom is a quote from one of their advertisements. And a pretty good example of a Southworth and Hawes postmortem photograph, which is much higher quality than the one I have. But the interesting thing about this one is that this is from 1870. The postmortem that you saw earlier was from the late 40s. Excuse me. The interesting thing about this is when you see the full mount, it has written in the bottom, open the eyes and fix the hair.
Oh, wow.
And that was done fairly, not frequently, but was not uncommon for that to happen with postmortem photographs that were rephotographed and then distributed to relatives and friends.
That's quite a document.
It's an interesting piece. It really is.
So presumably that retouching would have been done with, art supplies.
Probably the original CDV was rephotographed, or if they had the original negative, it would be touched in the original negative and then copies made from that.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you get one shot with this type of photography. If you had a live sitter, I suppose it would be different.
Yes. Yeah. All right, folks, that's it. Thank you.
Very
Thank
interesting.
you.
Very interesting.
Ron, there was usually not a problem having enough light in when the photographers travel to the homes of the deceased person. That must have been a challenge. I can't hear you, Ron. Ron, you're muted.
Yeah, okay. I said length of exposure wasn't a consideration in these cases.
That's true too, I guess.
So when did Flash first appear?
Began to come in, well, not in the Daguerrean era particularly. It came in much later and was pretty crude at first. Flash powder, flash tape. Electronic flash didn't come in until much later in the century.
Well, no, not electronic, but I mean, powder. Was
that
close to the turn of the century?
Not during this period, later.
Okay. Um, Bill, I'm going to
Yep.
get to your presentation. Let me just get that up.
By the way, flash photography mostly in the 1880s, early 1880s, a powder.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you look into Jacob Riis's book, How the Other Half Lives, look in the chapter when he's taking a photograph in Blind Alley. He accidentally set the wallpaper on fire at one point.
Um, Stereographs or stereo views are not part of my normal collecting. I have thousands of CDVs, but along the way, I picked up a few interesting stereo views. This one was done by Dallas Barnum, and most of the people on probably in FSNE should know or have been familiar with his name since he operated out of Boston and New York. In 1865, he was working out of Cortland, New York, and was living with his wife, Harriet. He died there in 1873. He was only 47 years old, having been born in 1825. Before he started his photography career, he lived and worked in his family's farm in Atisco in Onondaga County in New York. Before becoming a photographer, he was very interested in mechanics and engineering. He began working in a machine shop at 15, moved to St. Louis for a while, and invented a steam engine and also a machine for making paper bags. So, very interesting guy. The photograph shows his imprint, which is very small and often on a lot of his images. It's probably why I only thought I had 5 images of him, but when I was preparing for this, and actually this is an article for the upcoming photogram for the Michigan Photographic Historical Society, I began to realize I have 12 of his stereographs. And you can see that it's a very small imprint. You can go on to the next one, Dana. So he did a series of Revolutionary War battle landmarks in Boston. He also did a lot of photos of Saratoga and Niagara Falls, plus a series in Washington, D.C. He was probably more well known about the arrival of Prince Albert Edwards when he toured the United States in the early fall of 1860. He took a whole bunch of photos of that. Apparently, he followed Prince Albert to Washington, to Detroit, and Mount Vernon in New York City. There's a mention of Canada and Michigan, and when I consulted the Dave Tinder reference at the Clements Library in Ann Arbor, there's only a mention that he took a picture of Mackinac Bay in Michigan. I've yet to find that photo anywhere, although recently there was a type of the Mackinac Harbor, unidentified as the photographer. I'm not sure if, even though we know that Barnum started out as a daguerreotypist, whether he actually took that picture or another one. I'll be searching for it, I'm sure. And he took hundreds of images and stereo views. I've not found any cased images or CDVs, but there are many websites that list all the images that he's made. There's not too much organization. The numbering system is goofy and a lot of missing elements in it. You can go to the next slide, Dana. So this was the first one I bought. It's Echo Lake in Franconia, New Hampshire. And I was just entranced by the calmness of the Echo Lake and the three characters. It's almost like a landscape painting. Uh, and again, here, there's no imprint on this, but the type is very small and hard to read. So in some of these, I probably overlooked the fact that it was done by Barnum. And this was not a real inexpensive image. It cost me about $30 for it. So. But I'd like to find exactly where that spot was. Sometime I'll have to make a trip up to Franconia to see if I can find it. You can go on to the next one. And this is called the garden scene. It was probably taken at Saratoga Springs, where he did a lot of photographies. But you can see over on the right-hand side is that imprint that's very small to to see. So I was often thought another name for this would be the Happy Family, but a very interesting garden scene. Next one. This is a horse named Tom Jefferson, photographed at Cortland, New York. And I think there's one, two, three, four people on the wagon. I don't know if Tom Jefferson was a pacer or just the name of the family's horse that they took on rides. But again, another interesting image. Next one. And the music stand at Saratoga. He liked crowd scenes. There's a number of them in all the different parts of Saratoga, and which I've been to a number of times. And I'd like to go back again now and try to find the exact location of all the Barnum images. And all these pictures at Saratoga were probably taken just before the Civil War based on the clothing and the popularity of the site. He also took pictures of Greenwood Cemetery in New York City and a lot of the statuary and monuments in a park in New York. Next photo. And this is the last one of my recent acquisitions called Cake and Beer. No identification as to where it's taken. None of these images have anything except the title on the back and handwritten. But I think this could have been taken at Saratoga, but I haven't figured out who was the brewer, but it looks like another interesting scene. So I'm just curious if there's any other collectors of Dallas Barnum images. Go ahead and get a hold of me through the PHSNE. So that's all I have for you today.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Great. Why don't
As you know, I collect Deerdorf cameras, and I ventured away from it a while ago because I saw a Primo at a museum, and I thought it was just about the prettiest camera I had seen. It was in really good shape, and I thought I'd like to get one of those. And I was looking in Facebook Marketplace, and there was a Primo folded up, and it said free. And I texted the guy. I said, "Could I see you? Could you open the camera up?" No idea how to open it up. And I talked him through it, found a little button, pushed the button, and popped open, and it looked like that. A little dusty, a little more dusty than it is. And I said, "How much do you want for it?" And he goes, "I just wanted to go to a good home." I said, "Okay." And he sent it to me. It came with the camera, 5x7 camera, the Graflex or the Fulmer Swing auto shutter on the back, a very, very old Compor shutter with a Tessar lens in it. Nothing fancy as far as the lens goes, but the camera finish is nickel plated, and it has a machined or what's called an engine turned bed, which is that. And that is called a Supreme. That is a number 6 Pony Primo number 6 Supreme. The biggest problem I had with it was that the grease on the track was like tar. So I had to figure out how to get it disassembled safely and pull it apart, degrease it, put it back together again, and have it work nicely. He was a postcard photographer. In the box that he sent me this camera, there were 3 Kodak number 3A folders with rangefinders and a Gertz lens, a Zeiss lens, and a Cook lens. So the guy knew his optics. He knew his optics very well. He also had these hand applied lettering for focusing on all of his equipment. There's the front of it. The downfall of this was at some point, this camera took a tumble off his tripod. The gearing on the rise and fall here, the gearing on the pinion rod is in good shape, but the gearing on the upright on one side is not. And one of these days, I have a piece of rack, and I'm going to machine that out, lay the new rack in, solder it in, finish it off, and get it replated so it won't be visible. But it's just a lovely camera. There's the focal plane shutter. The curtain on it is mint. It has no crinkling on it or anything. It came with the most unusual cable release you've ever seen. This pushes up. The cable itself moves up. The anchor, the center part of it is a steel rod, very thin, like music wire, probably 20,000th of an inch diameter. The camera has a hook on the shutter has a hook on the side of it that hooks onto, and then this snaps over this pin here, and you squeeze it, and this thing collapses but pushes up and fires the shutter. The camera just this shutter just needed a little bit of lubrication on it for it to start working again. Here's the cable release. I ended up putting a piece of heat shrink tubing on the cable release to preserve it. This is the color of it as it was. It's a dark red, and it's got a lot of dirt in it. Human skin grease and everything else. It was grody. And so I changed that around, but I put a piece of red heat shrink tubing on it and heated it up over the gas stove in my kitchen and shrunk it down nice and tight, and it works just fine. There it is, all assembled. The back here comes off with a couple of clips on top. Same thing with the focal shutter, and it becomes a 5x7 camera. Vertical locks here control the bed tilt of the camera. Here it is looking out at my neighbor's house or the trees in front of it. There's his ground glass. It has a crack in it, not a crack, it's got a break in it. I've glued it shut with optical cement, and it seems to be holding, but I won't give that much longevity. I took it out and put it in another camera because I intend to use this camera. I modified the back so it holds normal 5x7 cut film backs, and the focal plane is at the right image or the right focal length, and it will be completely usable. There it is, all stretched out. There's a catalog. If any of you have not found out about PacificRimCamera.com, go to the place because they've got catalogs on everything. It's all free. They've got it's mentioned at the bottom of their page, research or reference library, and it's all in alphabetical order. And I have not yet not found anything. I've got some weird stuff. They've got the weird catalogs. And that, folks, is the end of the show.
That is a beautiful camera.
This
I can't believe.
looks like it would perform like the Graflex naturalist camera, which we have in the Fleetwood Museum. Have you done any close up? Any?
Listen, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
A naturalist just has a long lens. I've got one, and it's just got a long lens on it. This here, you could put in, the lenses are interchangeable, and you could put a triple convertible in it real easy.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
You would. Sure.
Fantastic. What a find. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was just
Thank you,
going to say
Ken.
that what a find and for free. Such a beautiful camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, he was just so thrilled. He was an old guy, and it was his great grandfather's camera, and he was a postcard photographer. And there's a lot of every camera that was in the box was used for postcard photography in one way or another.
Well, clearly he got lucky as well because he wanted it to go to a good home, and you're definitely going to be a great steward for this camera.
Definitely found the right person.
Well, I got it ready. I clean lubed and adjusted everything on it so it could be used, and I got it ready to take out. It's just the weather's been crappy. Just just I haven't been inspired yet on what I want to photograph. So it'll happen.
You'll have to share that when you get some images. Neil,
Oh, I will.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Hello.
Sure.
Many of you know I have a liking for panoramic cameras, and over the years I've used a number of different cameras, and I will be more than happy to show what we got going here. This one is an Alpha roto camera. It covers 360 degrees, and it takes 70, 120, and 220 film. This is a camera that came about towards the end of the Cold War when NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, ordered a camera that could be, and they ordered the camera from Alpa, located in Switzerland. They wanted a camera that could be put on the battlefield and photograph 360-degree images. Of course, the Cold War ended, and the manufacturing of this particular camera ended as well. But it does take very, very nice photographs. And I acquired one some years ago. And one interesting feature that the camera has is in the camera itself, there's a curtain that can be adjusted to compensate for light or dark on various portions of the negative. For instance, the sky or the foreground. And I thought that was a nice feature. But this is one of my photographs taken during the deconstruction of the central artery. And I believe that was done in 2004. And it was done with that particular camera. And the most difficult part of this was getting the camera out of the car. It weighed 17.5 pounds, and resting it on a concrete barrier at the New England Aquarium garage. And I think I was up on the third or fourth floor. And that in itself was quite a task, but I did get a nice picture. And this one, I'm pretty pleased with the results on this one. It's a view of the deconstruction of the central artery. And that was done, I believe, around 2004. And it is capable, there's enough detail in the negative so that it could be easily blown up to 4 or 5 feet in length. And this one might be familiar to some of the viewers. This is Melcher Street in Boston. and Summer Street is in the background, and Melcher Street has an interesting curve to it, which I picked up with that particular camera. Now, this is a Sights round shot, 35 millimeter format, and it will do 360-degree images as well as intermediate images. And it is a very neat little camera. First of all, it doesn't weigh 17 and a half pounds. It's considerably lighter. And it has a fixed lens. And it has a viewfinder that clips onto the top of it. And it takes some very neat pictures. Probably one of my favorite cameras. This one I took at a car show in the town of Hull. And some of you might recognize this image. It's up in Rockport, Bearskin Neck. And here's an image taken in the town of Hull. And this one I particularly like. It was a Corvette show at Lars Anderson, Brookline.
Yes. That's great.
And here's one taken at the rear entrance to the MFA, which I believe is now closed.
It is closed. Oh, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Hmm.
And I also have another Zeiss round shot. Now, this is quite unique in the fact that it doesn't have its own built-in lens. It uses the PC Nikkor 28 millimeter shift lens, so you can raise or lower the lens and eliminate distortion when you're shooting and trying to keep lines from converging. Very nicely made camera, but it has one drawback to it. Although this isn't it, this is the back of the camera showing the internal workings. But here's what I consider to be a drawback. It has a viewfinder that is very rough, so to speak, because the viewer has to look through one end of the viewfinder and line up the top and bottom of each segment of the viewfinder to get the image into the screen. I don't particularly care for that, but the camera does work. And here's an example that I had taken this past fall. And as you can see, it's about 180 degrees in this particular, actually, excuse me, 360 degrees. Now, this is what's called a short rotation camera, and it's a Noblex. And the lens rotates, but the film remains stationary in the back of the camera, as opposed to the round shots where it makes a full 360-degree turn. This covers about 140 degrees. And somehow I ended up with a casting of what the camera looks like prior to the manufacturing. And this one, I don't know if anyone, if our viewers can identify the spot where this was taken, but if you remember the Polaroid facility off of 128 in Waltham, this was a view of it as it was being taken down. And here's a photograph of the facility sort of taken down. I went in there one day and asked the superintendent, the construction superintendent or deconstruction, if I could take photographs. And he said, sure. He gave me a vest, a fluorescent vest, and a hard hat, and I was able to wander around and take a number of photographs. But I think that's a good overall image. And then we have non-rotation panoramic cameras. And this is one of my favorites. It's a Shenho PTB 617, and it'll do 6x17 images on 120 film. And if we look at the back end of the camera, it has a ground glass, and you can see the markings for the different film formats. And the way the camera works is you set it up on the tripod. You can, it has swings and tilts and shifts, and just like any other view camera. But the ground glass part of the camera can be tilted down and then a film back inserted in its place, and you can thus take the pictures. Using a roll of 120 film, you would set the winding to 3 frames, 6 frames, 9, and 12. So you got 4 shots out of a roll. Now here's an interesting picture. This I took at Webster Square in Worcester before they took this building down, and then they put this one up in its place. This is a fire station. And speaking of fire stations, here's a fire station in the Hammer Rock section of Scituate. It used to be a police station and fire station, and they converted it to simply a fire station. And that was done with the camera that I just described. And here's a view in the town of Hull done with that camera. It does require the use of a tripod, and sometimes, that can be problematic, but you set up the tripod, adjust the view and the tilts and swings, and get your picture. Here's another one in the same area, done with that same camera. And here's a fellow that had an antique shop, and I had asked him, would he mind posing in front of his antiques? And he said, sure. So I stood across the street and took the photograph. The nice thing about the view camera is you can interchange lenses. So you can go super wide angle or telephoto and adjust the focus, etc., and the composition. And I think that is about it, folks. And I thank you.
Yeah, it worked great. Thank you so much. Those
You
are
are entirely
amazing
welcome.
photos.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you.
Reich.
Hi. There it is. So this is the Super Fujica 6, 1955. And it's a wonderful handheld 120 camera. And I fell in love with it. And I had talked to Mike Ekman and one of his guys who is a classmate of mine at Antioch College and that sort of thing. And I said, I just got to have this camera. And so I went around and I finally got one. And
I can't see a picture.
Where I'm going.
Got it.
All right. Yay. All right. So my friends who were talking about this, they said, you should get this camera. So right now, I'm going to try and do a couple of fast things so that people can see it first. Come on. Come on. Make it happen. So if I put it down like this, you will be seeing this wonderful camera. Come on. Where are you? This is where Fujifilm decided to get the Super Fujica 6 for 120. And this is smaller and lighter, but better than any of the German folding cameras were at that time. And mostly the 1955 things were beginning to go out of style. The camera is a really small, and I mean small, camera, and it has a lovely drop-down look like this. So you can see the top of the camera. The shutter is here. The shutter is here. You have to cock it. And you have to make sure that you don't make a simple mistake and make two different negatives when you only really needed one. So this is a really easy working camera, and it is also a rangefinder. It has the camera is at the top here with this, and then I'm sorry, I'm trying to find remember what I've been trying to do. Where they have the place where you can identify where the rangefinder makes coincident things happen. The other thing is that it's a very easy camera to open. And then there's all of that in this. Oh, there he is, right there. And this is a really easy, simple camera to use. And again, Mike Ekman, because I talked to him about it, and he says, yeah, you gotta tell people about this camera. So the upshot of all of this was he went around his hometown and he took a lot of pictures, and I have a place where you can get to see his work done there. I think he was doing this, taking this particular camera around 2023. The wonderful part about this is that it's really easy for things to come in and out. There are no red lines here on the back. It's all nice and dark for the film. However, there is one incredible problem. The camera has no eyes for neck stuff, for people's stuff where you would need to carry a camera. You have to walk around with it, holding it in your hands, because there are no eyes, there are no other things that are on this. For some reason in Japan, this was something where they would do to place it on a table and make it take a timer. There's a self timer for it and that sort of thing. And it has a wonderful Tessar 3.5 lens, and it's a wonderful camera. And I kept saying to Mike Ekman, Mike, where can I get this? And he says, I don't know. I don't know how people make that camera work when you don't have to do it. So I'm going to stop there, but I will also ask everybody to say that this is my current favorite camera. Thank you, all of PHSNE. Thank you.
Thanks, Reich.
Reich, one quick question. This is Sid. The base of that rangefinder is very short.
Yes.
And it's a 75 millimeter lens, which
yes.
means that you'd have a hard time really focusing at
on the contrary. On the contrary, it actually is an extremely sharp and easy working, because the throw on it is so short. I mean, you're walking around like this where it looks like somebody's, hello, what? Where did it go? Kind of. It's a whole lot bigger. It's a whole lot better than the 2 1/4 ones from Germany back in the 30s.
Yeah.
I just want to say it.
I
You can
pasted
literally
it
put it in a pocket.
All right. One other thing that I wanted to ask. There's been a bunch of panoramas. Does anybody know about Adolf Braun? and the fact that he ended up creating a 75-pound glass plate photograph from the top of a hotel in Switzerland in the late 1860s. The object weighed about 250 pounds because it was all metal. So what had happened, it would swing. It was sliding the glass plate from one side to the other, and they had a way of putting the angles on the front of the lens so that you could get clouds in 1869. Unfortunately, he died after that, but that was a thing, and there was a long story about that because I actually saw that print made in at a Christie's auction for a guy who had basically stolen many pieces of photography. And the guy who was looking at me was actually the Darius Mayer, who was the head guy at Christie's. And I said, so this is a fabulous thing. And they said, well, isn't that just a sphere? I said, no, this is a curve. And that's what it was that's what that looked like, even as it was in a glass plate. I'll stop from here. Thanks.
Thank you, Reich. We're going to move it along as we are over time. Jim did say there was probably a case with a strap. And Bill said, is there a tripod outlet for that camera?
The tripod is place is right in the middle, and that's why it stays that way. There's a really spongy leather thing, but it doesn't have any strap either.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Peter.
Yes, hello. So I've got let me change my camera. Oh, let me check my camera really quick. I've got a couple things that I've made.
Desktop. There it is. I see it.
Okay, perfect. So I brought two cameras that I've kind of made and modified. I do a lot of 3D printing and stuff like that. And I like to make my own instant cameras. A lot of you probably realize that the choices you get with like instant cameras for the most part is pretty limited. You have the kind of point and shoot styled ones, which have very limited shutter speeds and aperture and, not a great lens. So I just kind of figured I'd seen some other people do it on the internet of 3D printing your own and using spare lenses. This is a lens off of a folding camera, much like the one that was just presented. And it's got pretty much everything, shutter speed, aperture, and even the front ring focuses. I pretty much created this whole housing with struts and even like a bellows, mostly just to hold an Instax Mini processing unit. So this is actually an Instax camera. It makes a tiny print about this big, kind of like a little bigger than 615, but yeah, I found the glass lens allows you to get a good amount of detail out of the film. I'd almost say more so with actual Polaroid film, which I think is a perfect segue into the other camera I have here. But the last thing is this I kind of designed the whole thing for the most part, with the strut mechanism, and then the rest, which is pretty much a box. But then this is a Polaroid camera I've made that was modified from an Impossible Lab, which, if you're not familiar, was actually, I've got one here. Essentially a fold out device that allows you to print Polaroid images off of your phone. So you put your phone like right here and you could print a Polaroid image, you know. They're pretty cheap these days, so they're great for my type of meddling. And pretty much I slapped a 6x9 film lens on here that had come from a really worse for wear body. And it effectively becomes a really simple camera. Obviously, it doesn't have a mirror in here, so the photo is left to right reversed. But this one's actually served me pretty well once you get past the left to right thing. I made this one pretty much with just three 3D printed parts. I added this grip here, just something to hold, and then this slightly different plastic is the 3D printed part, which mounts the lens. I pretty much ripped off the front of the Impossible Lab and threw this on here. And then I've got a viewfinder here, which I took off of another old Impossible project camera, which I'm also a fan of taking apart. The I1, not a great camera, but really fun to take apart. The viewfinder is kind of accurate, but beyond that, it's essentially just the same experience as like some older type of camera, I guess. Where you have to select the shutter speed and aperture all on your own, and then effectively guess the distance. But and that seems pointless. But like I said, I like making them, but you can get a little bit of extra detail out of the Polaroid film, which can make the $2 a shot feel a little better these days. But yeah, so these are kind of the projects I work on a lot. I'm currently reworking the strut one so that it with all my new knowledge about how to actually make things from plastic. I plan to make it usable with more easily accessible lenses. Like this, I effectively had to get lucky to find. This one was removed from the camera it had come on, but sometimes I'll find broken bodies. But ultimately, I want to design it to work with these lenses from the Polaroid MP4, which was like a macro process camera. These are like really cheap, and they come with these press shutters. But they can cut. They have a somewhat bright f4.5 aperture, which again is another slight upgrade over a standard Polaroid camera. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on. Didn't prepare too much else beyond that. Figured I'd open the floor to questions if anyone's interested.
Thank you, Peter. Those are incredible.
Yeah, it's really amazing, both in design and execution. So I have a question. Did you have to look around for a quality of plastic that you were satisfied with for this type of project?
A little bit. For the most part, I was just using the generic black filament that you can get for your 3D printer. But it can be kind of shiny. And in order to save myself the effort of painting the inside of parts again and again, I started using a more matte filament, but I'm still kind of figuring out how to prevent it from being shiny because that is partially related to how many the height of each layer plastic. So there's some fine tuning, but as far as like other plastics are concerned, I will probably I hope to eventually use ABS, which is a much more common and durable plastic. These cameras are a little delicate. The the PLA, as it's called, is durable, but it will melt in a hot car, um, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
I
kind
can
of a
see where that
problem.
I can see where that would be an issue. But I mean, just looking at it, it looks so much better than the vast majority of 3D printing plastics that I have seen. You know, just looking at the fineness of the surface, it looks much better, you know.
Mhm. Thank you. I I do like to try and have as fine layers as possible because you get better tolerances for things fitting together, but it also, yeah, does look more like its own part rather than a kind of uh, gooey mess, which
Yeah,
is
I
kind of
mean,
at the core of 3D printing.
it looks like higher quality molded plastic that you would see, as opposed to, you know, most of the stuff I've seen come across, you know, off of a 3D printer. It looks really good.
Bradley has a question, and then we're going to move on to Vladimir, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We're really over time. So Bradley just asked, is it difficult to get the lens plate perfectly aligned with the film plane? How do you get the
Um,
tolerances so tight?
So obviously the tolerance for that is really, really tiny. I will actually I'll usually undershoot it just a little bit. I use a special ground glass that I put a piece of ground glass into a Polaroid pack, which I use essentially to I also have an Instax one that I use in this one. But those are really handy. But once I, get really close, then I'll usually use either pieces of paper or super, super thinly printed shims. Um, yeah, shims, that's, it's like it was 80% of carpentry is sanding. And, with this, 80% of it is getting the focal length correct, or the focal flange focal distance correct.
Wow.
Tedious, but the results make it worth it.
Thank you. That's
Of
incredible.
course.
Thank you so much. We are going to move on to our last presentation. Thank you so much, Peter.
Of course.
Vladimir, 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Dana. Hello, PHSNE. I'm going to talk about the same factory that produced the Horizon camera, Krasnogorsk mechanical factory, mechanical plant. But the camera that I'm going to talk about is different. That factory created many cameras, not only the Horizons, uh, and I'm going to talk about camera named Crystal. Crystal means gem. It's not crystal vase, but it's crystal like a gem, right? So I'm going to share my screen right now, and here is the camera. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yes, very good. So, what kind of camera is this? This is a 35 millimeter SLR camera designed by Marenkov, designer Marenkov. His last name was Marenkov. And it's a very rare for our days camera because they made 65 and a half, a little less than that, 65 and a half thousand of these cameras. The base for this camera was another camera that produced by the same factory, Krasnogorsk. The camera is Zorky 6. Zorky 6. Zorky 6 was a rangefinder camera, a very good one, and designed by the same person, Marenkov.
And as you can see, they are very similar. They look very similar, these two cameras, because the shutter mechanism, the winding mechanism, and including the lens, well, there's a difference in the lens because of the uh, structure of the bodies, right? But rewinders are the same. Everything is practically the same. And this is how they look together. They, you can notice that they're basically the same, except for Zorky has a rangefinder system, and a Crystal has mirror system in, right? So uh, Crystal was the first SLR camera made by this factory with the back rear door for film loading. Okay, this is the camera again, and you can see some unique features and features that uh, shared with Zorky 6, right? So this is the first camera made by that factory with a door, with a metal mirror lifting mechanism. Before it was just a thread, nylon thread. And winding lever film advance and shutter cocking is together, but also comparing to the other camera, I'll show it to you with the next slide. The shutter button is in the center of that winding mechanism. What you see now is a cassette made specifically for that camera. The difference for this cassette is that, as you can see, it consists of two cylinders, outer and inner, and this little spring. This little spring works, you can see it on this picture, works when this part of the inner cylinder is being pushed. That pushing that part of the cassette allows the film more freely leave the cassette, right? So when you put this, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes, when you put this cassette inside the camera, it's closed. But when you close the rear door, there is a special pin that pushes right here, and it releases the gap for the film. And you can see the logo of the Krasnogorsk factory on top of this cassette. Now, this series of slides shows where the crystal fits in the timeline, right? So SLR production with KMZ, Krasnogorsk Mechanical Plant, started with the camera Zenit. This is the very first camera Zenit. Unfortunately, I don't have it, but I do have this camera Zenit S, which is the second camera, the second SLR camera. The third was obviously Zenit 3, right? And the difference from comparing to Zenit S or C, if you can't read Russian, then the difference would be the self-timer and lever winding mechanism. And please notice this shutter button is separated from the winding mechanism, which is not the same anymore on Crystal, right? Crystal does have the same winding lever, and the push button is in the center of the winding mechanism. As well, it has the self-timer. Very interesting feature of this camera is that not only the body, but also the top portion of the camera was cast, pressure cast, and it was painted in hammered paint. Plus, I'm not sure if you can see, but please put your glasses on and you will see the dent here on Zenith S, right? For that reason, I think on this camera, on Crystal, they made these ribs to fortify protection for the pentaprism. Some people say it's Art Deco, but those days, 60s in Soviet Union, I don't think they thought of Art Deco. So this camera Crystal, was discontinued very fast because people did not get used to this hammered color, right? And instead of that, the factory, the same designer, Marenkov, created another camera, Zenith 3M. Zenith 3M. And Dana, this is the camera that you like my story about when I broke my father's camera, and this is the camera that my father bought. This is the camera that I wasn't allowed to touch. um, so I'll show it in a few minutes, right? So this is how Crystal was transformed to Zenith 3M. Letter M stands for Marenkov, for his last name. And this is more traditional SLR as we are used to see the cameras. So Crystal and Zenith 3M basically are the same cameras, approximately, of course, because this top cover is not cast anymore, but everything is made by this Krasnogorsk factory. This slide shows how they're all connected, right? It's definitely looks like the same family of cameras. The base is Zorky 6. Second one is Crystal, the one I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And this is Zenith 3M. Now I'm going to switch my camera to my other camera, and I'll show you the cameras that I not I created, but I prepared for this show. Okay, so this is Zenith C or S, as it says in Russian. And please take a look. This is the dent that probably was the reason for ribs
right? And as you can see, the winding lever is missing. This camera has only winding knob. Then this is another lens that fits this camera. This is a portrait lens, very fast. But this one is the crystal. And this is the cassette. This is the special cassette for this camera. This is how you load the cassette. All right, obviously it goes this way in. All right, and on the rear door, if you can see, because it's very, very small, this is the pin. This is the little pin that pushes on this edge of the cassette. And when that pin pushes, see, I can push with my stick here, right? Opening the mouth of the cassette. Okay. So when you close it, it releases the film. But when you open it, the pressure is off and the mouth is closed. So cassette becomes light tight again. And finally, this is the camera that is 60 years old. This is my father's camera. This is exactly that camera that he brought here to United States when we came here. And this is the camera that I was not allowed to touch, Dana. So as you can see, they are absolutely the same, right? From the top. This is Crystal. This is Zenith 3M. And that's about it about this camera. Well, I could have talked more, but we are out of time. That's it. Thank you for listening.
And I'm glad that you got a chance to show us the legendary camera.
It is a legendary camera. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I am sorry we went so far over time tonight. I think planning for the future presentations for holidays, we maybe don't do so many, but I'm so glad you were all able to join us tonight. I really loved seeing all of these presentations, and we've got a great community at PHSNE. And I really love seeing what people are making and doing and collecting. John, are you there?
Yes, I am. Like you mentioned, we are over time, so I'm not gonna say too much. Just accept thanks. I've enjoyed the last 4 years as being on a leadership team, and really appreciate the efforts of the board that I've had and all the support they've given me, and a few people in particular that were not in the board who were very, very, very important to our organization. And of course, Dana, that includes you, and also Bonnie Riegelman, and also Joe Walters, and I'm sure there's others I'm forgetting. They are the glue that keeps this stuff together, them and the board. And probably most importantly, the willingness of our members to share information. That is what has kept PHSNE going for many, many years now. And I'm sure that is what's going to help us transition to a new leadership team And I'm sure in the years to come, with the support of the board members and their willingness to share information, we'll be going on for many, many years to come. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I hope
Thank
you
you
all
for
have
putting it together.
really wonderful holiday season for
Great.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Happy
David.
holidays. Great presentations.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. And in January, on the 4th, Charles Baldwin will be joining us to talk about his experiences using different kinds of cameras for different types of images and sort of his story, his journey. So hope you can join us then. Thank you again. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Happy
Good
New
night,
Year.
everyone. Have a happy holiday season.
Betcha. Thank you. A safe, happy holiday.
Happy holiday to everybody.
Thanks, Vlad. Good night.
Good night.
Night.